Hello, everyone, and welcome to another rendition of XGR in the morning. Thank you. You may have noticed there's no special guest this time, and there's no geeky girl. Yeah, we don't know what's happened, but she wasn't here, and we couldn't get hold of the scheduled guest. But that out the way, we're going to be looking at the E3 stuff to do with the third-party games. We did Sony, we did Nintendo, and of course we did Microsoft. Speaking of Microsoft, I'm going to allow Richter to break the news today if you want, Richter.
Okay, well, Microsoft literally announced within an hour before we started recording that they are, in essence, reversing a lot of their announced policies regarding the Xbox One. So the good news is the region locking is gone, and they are doing away with their DRM and the 24-hour check-in. Unfortunately, we also lose the family sharing and the basically installing the game off of the disc.
Yep. But it fixed a load of their problems.
Yes.
Hopefully that means that people who like the 360 exclusives and stuff will have their console. That out the way, we shall move on to the top. Basically, we just decided to write 5 down each where we liked the most from the third-party games, since we talked about the big stuff. So I'm going to allow Richter to go first. Richter, your number 5.
Okay, my number 5 that they showed some at E3 was Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, which is basically a spin-off story of the Ninja Gaiden franchise where you play as one of the nameless grunts that Hayabusa basically killed, and he's reborn as a cyborg ninja. We have, this game has been announced a while ago. They've had, trailers and stuff of it, but they talked some more of it, and my friend actually played it there, and he said it was really good, and it reminded him of Onichan Bara came out on Xbox, and the first one of those actually came out here, and that was a pretty fun game. So I am looking forward to that one.
And cool. I've not played the Ninja Gaiden games. I've played Metroid the Other M, which, yeah, I believe I may have mentioned in the Nintendo I didn't like the story. However, I will say the gameplay of that, with people saying it's similar to Ninja Gaiden stuff, they do good gameplay. I will give them that.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Except for 3, but 1 and 2 were pretty good.
3 on Wii U is meant to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is yet though. That is on my to buy list. But my number 5. 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. This is a downloadable game available this summer. I wish I had a proper release date, but it's available this summer. Basically, it's the Nickelodeon show, but it's made all gritty, dark, and more adult, and it's for the older fans. Where it's like the old Turtle games, but on a 3D plane of going through beating up bad guys and stuff like that, and having fun. Each turtle plays differently. Like Raphael does like MMA fighting. Michelangelo is meant to be like quick, so he can go in, do some strikes, and get out there. Donatello has the longest range and stuff, so he'll use his staff to his advantage. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely one I want to try out when it comes out.
And same here. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
I forgot who said that then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're like, forget that, I changed my mind.
And now, Richter's number 4.
All right, my number 4 would probably be The District. It was shown at, I believe, the Ubisoft conference, and it looked really cool. It was kind of like an open world third-person shooter that had some multiplayer. So yeah, it's another shooter game, but it looked fun, and it had the kind of had that Borderlands vibe where the guns had stats and the different, I don't know if they're classes or whatever, but they had different abilities, and it definitely looked like one that I would play with some of my friends. The only problem I had with it was that there's also the integrated tablet usage. I think it was the smart glass. I can't remember exactly, but where like someone could play on the tablet and do stuff, and that looked kind of cool. But I'm not gonna have a tablet to do with it. But at the end of the trailer, when I was totally excited, and then they're just like, oh, and then with the fake people talking, and they're like, "Oh, brace for PvP," and I'm like, "Crap!" So if you can turn that off, that's fine. But that's the only part that I was kind of worried about. Like, I'd hate to be going and then just be like, "Oh, look, here's another team that just snipe you in the back," and you're like, "No, we almost finished the quest." But it looked pretty cool.
Hopefully they have PvE and PvP servers and stuff.
Yeah.
That game did look cool. My only thing with that, where I didn't like the look of, was like
Mhm.
you mentioned the tablet.
Yeah.
I can't remember what systems it was on, but I was like, there's no excuse it couldn't be on all of them. Because let's face it, you could do it on the Xbox One or Xbox 360 if it works with that, and use the smart glass as the tablet,
Yeah.
or do it on PlayStation and use Vita, do it on Wii U and use the screen
Yeah.
on the actual gamepad. There's no reason to include tablets. It's like, oh yeah, all these consoles are now doing extra screen stuff. Let's do extra screen stuff on a different device. But that
Yeah.
that was my only thing. It did look pretty cool, though, I will admit.
Yeah, and I think the one little piece, I don't remember if I actually mentioned this during XGR, that I liked was when he was like taking cover behind a car and the door was slightly open, and as he walked by he just kind of like absentmindedly just shut the door so he could just slide along the side, and I was like, that little small thing, and I was like, that looked really cool.
It did. See, he did it differently to me. If you have an option of doing that, my thing would be to get in the car, close it, and just use the car as like a fucking armor.
That would be awesome. Just peek out the window.
Yeah. Oh, the fuck, my gun just sticks out the exhaust pipe. But my number 4, Lego Marvel Superheroes. It's no surprise here. I enjoyed the Lego games. I enjoyed Lego Batman with the voices and stuff, and they're all coming back with the Lego Marvel ones. They're doing ones with that. Hulk's the new feature with that one of they're doing like a big guy, so therefore it's the first time you got someone as big as Hulk doing it, which that looks kind of fun. Lego Spider-Man and all the story and stuff. It just looks pretty fun, especially from the trailers.
Yeah, it does. Don't you fight Lego Galactus in it?
I think you do.
Because that would be, I would want to see that. Like, just Lego fight versus Galactus.
I would. That would actually be awesome. Lego Galactus. I'm hoping he is in there.
I'm
But
hoping
now
when he eats planets, he just breaks them into Lego bits that he like sucks into his mouth or something.
that would be awesome. And Victor's number 3.
My number 3 that they showed, strangely enough, was Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare. I recently finally got around to playing Plants vs Zombies, like the tower defense one, and holy crap, dude, I like that game. And so I decided to watch the trailer for that when they were showing it, and it reminded me a lot of Trenched or Iron Brigade, whichever, and which was not THQ, Double Fine. I think they might have done it through. No, they did it through Microsoft. Excuse me. Anyway, but it was like a third person, tower defense kind of like shooting game where. In Garden Warfare, you play as the different types that have different abilities. So the pea shooter obviously shoots, but the sunflower is like the healer, and you could put up turrets of the other plants, and it just looked kind of fun. It's definitely one I would want to try.
And my number 3. Because I don't know much about that game, and I've heard Zombies
Yeah,
v Plants. It looks pretty cool. I just never downloaded it.
yeah. I think I was one of like the last 10 people in the world to play that game.
I must be one of the other remaining 9. But I did like Pixel Junk Tower, whatever the hell it was called, which meant to be similar.
Mm.
But my number 3, South Park: The Stick of Truth. It's a South Park RPG. It looks like the show. They have loads of jokes and stuff. I wanted this so badly when THQ announced it. Then THQ went bump. Ubisoft have basically come around to save it. And I love the fact even at E3 the trailer kind of mocked that with Cartman being like, it's out this holiday season, possibly. You know how video games industries are. I know, like, that's kind of fun. I'm looking forward to see what they've added to this game and what they've brought to the table.
Yeah, as an RPG fan, that definitely looks like an awesome game, and the fact that it's being, a lot of like the story and all that stuff is being written by the actual writers, I feel that it's going to be true to the show in that respect, and it even looks true to the show, which I think will help a lot.
Yep. I also like the fact Matt and Trey themselves said, I think it was at E3 when they said that it may have been just before, but I think it was at E3 when they had like an interview with them,
Hmm.
and they said they've played the previous South Park games and said they were never really good. And they said the reason they were never really good, and we know this, and we were disappointed by this, is we made the mistake of just handing our license to a company and saying make us a game.
Right.
And they said, and then we got backlash stuff like Chef Loves Shack. And it's like, okay, it's a game. I suppose you technically did what you said. But they said this time round, however, whenever they're not writing the show, they've been writing this game. Then they've been writing the show and writing this game. It's like, that's kind of cool. It means they may be a little burnt out across areas. I'm not expecting this to be the greatest South Park story ever told.
Right.
Same thing when a series comes back. I'm expecting them to be a little burnt out because I'll be honest, I don't know if you've noticed this. Matt and Trey, they're not the best multitaskers in the world. Whenever they do a big project and South Park at the same time, South Park's quality normally slips just a bit,
Hmm.
or sometimes a lot. But it looks fun. The South Park Stick of Truth. So now, Richter, your number two.
My number two would be Saints Row 4. Uh,
Number two.
we have mentioned this game before, and Saints Row is, I like that it's the over the top of version of Grand Theft Auto, and 4 looks like they took some of the things I really like from a game called Crackdown. So you have superpowers, you can like jump and glide, and massive ground pounds and mech suits. Fuck yes, mech suits.
Yep. I'm looking so forward to Saints Row. I'm looking forward to Saints Row 4 too. I'm a little like I'm not expecting to be as good as 3, to be
Hmm.
fair.
Yeah,
The reason why is they said this was planned as DLC for 3,
yeah.
and now they've just decided to make it a full-fledged standalone game. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, it's got fucking mech suits.
Well, didn't Saints Row the Third just came out last year, right?
Yeah,
Where all the other ones had, I want to
I
say,
think.
yeah, like 2 or 3 years in between, and this one I think only has one.
I think it was
So
either last year or the year before.
might have been. I'm trying to remember.
It may have been the year before because last year was the holiday seasons when I started to do like the Wii U reviews.
Mm,
And on my channel, Saints Row the Third is one of my first ones up, so it might be 2 years.
okay,
So I
maybe.
think it was just after the last Dragon Ball Z game.
Okay. Well, I
Oh,
don't
and
think
Dragon
it.
Ball Z games next XGR.
Well, either way, I don't think there was as much development time between the third and the fourth one, and because yeah, the fourth was supposed to be playing DLC, it might not. It might be short, but I imagine it's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, although I'm hoping because they left it enough time, I'm hoping what they've done is they've taken all the stuff THQ had done and then just added more content and fleshed it out more.
Yeah. Wasn't
And
it
like you
even the
said,
same developers or?
I think it is because I think they bought the studios that
Yeah.
came with them.
And they,
Like,
and they they were one of the first ones bought, so there probably wasn't that big of a gap between being owned by
yeah,
THQ and being owned by Deep Silver, I believe it is.
yeah. Which, to be fair to Saints Row, two games made THQ money. Technically, possibly three, but one of them had been failing in recent years. And that had been the three games were the UFC, the wrestling, and Saints Row. The reason THQ went bankrupt is they didn't make it yearly Saints Rows. They only made the wrestling games. They made yearly, fair enough. The UFC was yearly, but those two alone couldn't support the company when every year they were bringing out other crap
Yeah,
that just tanked like car games over and over again.
and sinking all that money into Homefront, I think it was.
Yeah, but Saints Row Fourth looks cool. They should call it like the third one was Saints Row the Third. This one should be Saints Row Back and Forth. Or take a page out of Shrek, because Shrek had Shrek the Third. Next one needs to be Saints Row Forever After, or whatever the fuck the last Shrek one was called. But no, that looks cool. My number 2. Dragon Age 3. Believe it's Dragon Age Inquisitor.
Yeah, Inquisition or something.
Yeah, looks fun. The games of 1 and 2 have built up to this massive war, and well, don't need to tell you guys. If you've listened to XGR, you've seen us during when we do our normal show instead of the E3 show. We do a little section called Catch Up, where we talk about the games we catch up on, and yeah, we constantly kept playing Dragon Age. The only one here that didn't, I believe, was Richter.
No, not recently.
Which means you get his playthrough starting this week. I'm kidding, but that'd be awesome. But no, yeah, you should. My problem with Dragon Age 3, first, before I go on to some positives, is it's on Xbox One. That's not the negative, Richter. And it's on PS4. How the hell are our saves from 1 and 2 going to carry over?
They'll have a questionnaire in the beginning.
Yeah, they promised us all our choices from 1 and 2 had built to this war and were going to affect the story dramatically. How's that the case if we can't import our saves? I'm hoping they do something where it allows you to convert your saves or something. I'm hoping, I'm praying it's not going to be something stupid like when Mass Effect 3 came out on PS3. We got the motion comic, which totally worked because because I got to play through the Dragon Age 1 story as I hadn't played through it all before I played 2. It worked.
Right.
But if you've played through 1, that comic is pointless.
Yeah.
Because you would just want to carry your character over. Hope it's not that. But the positives is Morrigan's back. Hell yeah, Morrigan's back. Woo, woo. Which means, yay. Hopefully, if it carries on our saves, I get more about her and my Grey Warden together. Because I did say there's a possibility of Hawk and the Warden showing up. But yeah.
Well, I would say, real quick.
Sorry.
With transferring the save file, I could see them using the cloud, because if you're Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation 4 Plus, you can use the cloud saves. So I could see that as at least an avenue to do it. I don't know if they'll do that, but I could see a way, because both those services carry over. The cloud might be able to download that and, I don't know, maybe convert something. I have no idea, but
That's a good point, actually. If I get PS Plus beforehand and back all my saves up to it, but you can't back up all of them, can you? Because you've only got a certain amount of memory.
Yeah, it's like a gig though, so you can back up a lot.
I've got a lot saved. Seriously, I got like freaking pages of them. But yeah, it'd be cool. Hopefully, I'm now wondering whether or not if I back up my PS3 saves, can I actually, if it's a way of streaming my PS3 games, I have to rebuy them.
Maybe.
Curious.
Well, that's what I think the Gaikai service was supposed to do, was to actually stream some games.
Yeah, because they said you're meant to be able to stream PS3 games, but I don't know how. But this isn't the Sony one.
Yeah.
Richter's number 1.
My number 1 is, they showed a little bit more of Bravely Default, which is a 3DS RPG from Squeenix that thankfully they're bringing out here, because it sounds really cool. It's supposed to be a really good game from all the stuff I've read, and it has kind of the art style of the Final Fantasy, kind of like Final Fantasy 3, and then there was I can't remember the name of it. There was a regular DS game. It was like Four Spirits or something.
The Chrono Chronicles?
No. Oh.
What was that called? Final Fantasy Chronicles or something on GameCube.
Yeah, there's the Crystal Chronicles.
That was it. I'll be honest, that's the first one since 7 I've actually enjoyed, because I kind of like the cartooniness.
It's kind of that graphics, or that kind of graphical style where it's kind of cartoony. But it also, if I remember correctly, has like a massively good job system and all that stuff that I like in an RPG. And I was definitely looking forward to playing it. I'm glad they announced it here, and I'm glad that they showed a little bit more about it at E3.
A massively good job system? My
Yes.
God, based on today's economy, it is fantasy. Booyah, political humor.
It's the only way I can have a job and still be at home.
So it's a porn,
True.
but then you'd be the stay-at-home dad divorced game.
Porn reviews.
Yeah, you need to do porn reviews now.
Triple XGR.
True. Well, the way he inserted his penis into the one was a little quite too rough for me. It didn't quite simulate the romantic nature they were trying to go for with the story. But what's the story of your Final Fantasy? Is it which one's a sequel to?
It's not really a sequel. It's a, an actual new IP, so to speak. It's
Ah,
not exactly. It's just it has a lot of similar elements from Final Fantasy games.
cool, fair enough. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like, I don't know, seeing Cloud now as an old man or something.
No, no no, it's not directly tied to it. Although I don't, they might shove Final Fantasy into like or like the words Final Fantasy into its subtitle or something. Because honestly, I don't. I'm okay. Like the title of Bravely Default does sound pretty stupid, but like the
Oh,
game's supposed to be good.
sorry, Bravely Default's the title.
Yes.
I blanked on the title when we were
Oh,
talking about Final Fantasies and shit. I thought it'd been called Final Fantasy something.
oh no, no. It's no. The art style was like Four Heroes of Light. That's what the name of the game is.
And I will say I'm professional enough, but I will not edit that out because I think that's kind of funny.
I can't blame you for blanking on a name Bravely Default. That's that sounds like
Blank.
I'm gonna play the game. Are you gonna change any of the settings? No, I'm gonna be Bravely Default about it.
Yep, it sounds like the placeholder of
Yeah, it
games.
does.
But my number one. If I'm going to talk more about this than the actual trailer was in length, Star Wars Battlefront. I've been waiting for a new Battlefront for so long. Since the second one came out, I've been waiting for a new one that wasn't a crappy handheld one. And I don't just mean your one. I mean, go play the 3DS one. The 3DS Battle. No. The PSP ones are actually closer, if that makes sense.
Right.
The 3DS one's like a top-down shooter thing. It's like
Wow.
what the hell's this? But yeah, the Battlefront. It used to be this game where you could play third or first person. You got to get in like a fucking TIE fighter, drive into your enemy's base, land down, fucking shoot the crap out of them, and you didn't play until the second one where they introduced the hero system. But for the majority of the game, you don't play as Luke, Han, Leia, Vader, Maul, and shit like that. You play as random troop. And that's what made it interesting. Because the other Star Wars games capture, like, The Force Unleashed, people would argue, captures the nature of a Jedi. This captured the nature of war, but at the same time captured the nature of being a stormtrooper or a rebel or basically being a rebel or something like that, and it worked. And they had it across different eras, and it was just unbelievable. And at E3 we got the trailer. There was a guy and it's walking, it's all half, it's all first person view, and you see the AT-AT leg just stamp down. It was awesome. And you saw land speeder. My only concern is it's made by DICE, I believe.
Yes, as far as I know.
My only real concerns with this game is one, it's on PS4 and Xbox One, which while I'll be getting a PS4, if it's anything, because it's like an EA game, if it's anything like the PS3 and 360, they're going to remove local multiplayer from it,
Mm.
which that just suck. My other concern, and I think a load of fans know where I'm going with this one, the trailer looked like it was all entirely in first person. This is the studio that makes Battlefield, I believe it is.
Yes.
And yeah, Battlefield. And their game's a first person view. I don't want to lose the third person view of Battlefront. I appreciate the fact that EA said they're not gonna, or DICE said they're not gonna basically turn around and just make Battlefield in space. Or they're, they're not going to turn around and just make a clone of Battlefront 2. They're going to try and make their own thing, which captures the spirit. And I'm like, that's cool. If it's its own thing and it's true to the nature of it, it's true to the modes and stuff, you know what I mean? Cool.
Hmm.
However, if we lose that third person view, it goes from being Battlefront to Republic Commando, and I'm worried about that. I mean, Republic Commando wasn't a bad game either. It's just it's a different game. I want my Battlefront to be Battlefront.
Right.
How about you, Richter?
I haven't actually played those games very much, but I definitely like the idea of that to make like a massively multiplayer. Well, I don't know how massive, but to make like a big group multiplayer Star Wars game. That's what you do. You basically take the like the clone troopers, stormtroopers, the rebels, like, and that makes sense within the universe and could give a different experience to like Force Unleashed or just playing games based off the movies. And so in theory, I think those are awesome games. And I remember them being third person, so I hope they don't make them first person, first
Yeah,
person only.
yeah, and it worked, and they did do them based on the movie. They did do levels based on the movies,
Right.
but like you said, in the movies we follow like the main characters, the Jedi, and they'll go off.
Yeah.
They're not off on our screen now. We're like taking them there. We're
Yeah.
like leading the charge, and it felt pretty massive when I was playing it on Xbox because I used to play on Xbox on I was supposed to say Xbox One, the prequel to Xbox 360. I don't know what we're meant to call the
Yeah.
original Xbox now. I'm going to call it original box.
There you go.
But on the Xbox, the first one, I used to play that on Xbox Live with headsets and stuff, and I used to play with people, and it used to be awesome. And I'll admit, I'm not the best when it comes to some shooters and stuff. I don't care. It was Star Wars. I was having fun. And a few times I did do well enough to get a hero character, and then I could turn into Luke and stuff on the second one to go through and kill people. But I always used to love doing stupid stuff too. Like I mentioned, the tactic I used a lot of times would be to like if I was on like the Emperor's side, the Empire's side, Richter,
Hmm.
I'd get into a TIE fighter. I would fly. I would purposely just not shoot any of the enemy ship and just speed as fast as I could.
Hmm.
I'd then go crashing into the enemy's fucking base and just skid across the fucking floor and take out as many people as I could.
Nice.
I used the Al Qaeda method, you may say. Vader, shalom. That one maybe have to be cut. I don't know. That may be too impolitically correct.
Uh,
And if there's one thing we know about Israel, they can take a joke.
we're all dead now.
uh, and thank you for joining us on what could possibly be my last days on Earth. But no, thank you for joining us on XGR.
Yes.
I was your host, Chriz, aka The Mole. He was the stay-at-home dad gamer, the man, the myth, the head, Ricktor Hammer.
Yep.
Just yep. You're just going to accept that as an outro.
Yes.
No, I mean, you're just going to
Try to
accept.
sound legendary. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just going to
I'll
accept the
get it.
head. Okay, fair enough. But follow us on Twitter, leave your opinions and stuff, and what games would you guys interested in? But see ya.
Bye.